This is part 2 of my Star Wars retrospective. To see my introduction to the series and my thoughts on The Phantom Menace, please check out my previous video called Does the Phantom Menace Still Suck? Today, I'm going to dive into episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I'll keep the disclaimers brief this time, but please don't be toxic in the comments. It's okay to respectfully disagree, but please remember it's a movie at the end of the day. Anti-woke chuds aren't welcome here. If what I am saying about masculinity and emotions makes you uncomfortable, you might need to look in the mirror. But I'll get to that more in the next review. For now, there will be spoilers for all the Star Wars films in this retrospective. I also don't claim to be an objective reviewer. This project is me trying to see how my thoughts about these films changed as an adult. The last time I watched them was in 2019 when I was 17. I have changed a lot since then, and I pick up on things that I didn't before. But before I get into that, it's time to explain what an Attack of the Clones actually is. 10 years after The Phantom Menace, many systems are leaving the Galactic Republic in a separatist movement. Queen Padme Amidala has served her terms as queen and become a senator for the Republic. She arrives in Coruscant to oppose a vote to make an army for the Republic to deal with the separatist threat. Someone is trying to assassinate her, but she doesn't know who or why. One of her handmaidens is killed on the landing platform. She goes to speak to the Jedi about her concerns, and they decide that Padme needs protection. They assign Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Padawan, Anakin Skywalker, to the project. The two are joined by Jar Jar Binks. Anakin is nervous to see Padme as he has thought about her for the last 10 years. He programs his droid R2-D2 to watch over Padme while she sleeps and alert them of any threats. Anakin and Obi-Wan argue over politics, as Obi-Wan feels that Anakin is too close to Chancellor Palpatine. R2 fails to notice the poisonous worms that try to attack Padme, but the two Jedi sense danger and arrive just in time. Obi-Wan then dumps out the window and tries to track down the assassin, while Anakin gets in a speeder and chases him. They chase a bounty hunter named Zamwezel through the city until she eventually enters a bar. Obi-Wan goes for drinks, and Anakin tracks her down. Outside, the Jedi apprehend Wezel, but she is shot by a poisoned dart before she can reveal the name of her employer. The Jedi Council instructs Obi-Wan to find the bounty hunter and sends Anakin with Padme to Naboo to protect her. Obi-Wan goes to a diner owned by an alien named Dex, who is a friend of Obi-Wan's, and identifies the dart as Kaminoan. Obi-Wan goes to the Jedi archives and searches for the planet Kamino, but it has been wiped from the archives. He is concerned since only a Jedi can tamper with the archives. He goes to the place on the map where Kamino is and finds an ocean planet, arriving at a futuristic facility and being greeted by the Kaminoans, who say they were expecting him. They tell him that they are working on an army of clones that was requested by Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. Obi-Wan is surprised since Sifo Dyas was killed over 10 years ago. He asks to see the original host for the clones, who is a bounty hunter named Jango Fett. Fett says he was hired by a man named Tyrannus. Obi-Wan realizes he is the bounty hunter he is looking for and tracks him and his son, Boba, to the planet Geonosis, where separatist droids are being manufactured. His ship's long-range transmitter was damaged in the encounter with Fett, and he attempts to contact Anakin on Naboo in order to have him retransmit the message to the Jedi at Coruscant. Meanwhile, Anakin and Padme begin to fall in love on Naboo. Anakin says that attachments are forbidden by the Jedi, but he can't help himself in loving her. Padme is apprehensive, as she is a senator and has other duties. Anakin begins having nightmares about his mother dying. He decides to go to Tatooine with Padme and talks to his old master, Watto, who says he sold Anakin's mother to a man named Lars, who freed and married her. Anakin arrives on the Lars farm and meets his stepbrother, Owen, and Owen's girlfriend, Beru. Owen's father, Klieg, emerges, telling Anakin that his mother has been kidnapped by Tusken Raiders and he has lost his leg trying to rescue her. She is probably dead. Anakin rides out to confront the Tuskens and finds his mother clinging to life. She tells him she loves him and is happy to see him grown up before dying. In a rage, Anakin murders the entire Tusken tribe and returns to Padme, confessing his sins. After burying his mother, the two return to their ship, where Anakin retransmits Obi-Wan's message, which informs the Council of the Clones. They know nothing of this, but due to the increased separatist threat, Yoda decides to go ahead and create a clone army after emergency powers are granted to Chancellor Palpatine by Jar Jar Binks, who votes in Padme's stead. Master Windu tells Anakin to stay where he is, but Padme says it will take the Jedi too long to get to Geonosis and that she wants to go rescue Obi-Wan. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan is captured by Separatist leader Count Dooku, a former Jedi Master. Dooku informs Obi-Wan that a Sith named Darth Sidious is in control of the Senate. Obi-Wan says he must be lying, as the Jedi would have sensed the presence of the Sith. Anakin, Padme, and the droids, C-3PO, who was with the Larses, and R2-D2 arrive at Geonosis and find their way into a droid factory, which is manufacturing battle droids for the Separatists. C-3PO has his head and body separated and inserted onto battle droids. Padme is nearly caught in a vat and covered in molten lava, but is saved by R2. Anakin loses his lightsaber, and he and Padme are captured. They meet Obi-Wan in a gladiator arena, and the three must fight off the beasts while Dooku watches. Windu and the other Jedi arrive to assist, and are quickly overwhelmed by Separatist droids. R2 helps C-3PO get his head and his body back together, and Windu kills Jango Fett, with his son Boba watching. Yoda's clone army arrives to turn the tide of the battle, but Dooku escapes. The crew pursue him, but Padme falls into the sand below. Anakin begs to go back for her, but Obi-Wan insists that Anakin come with him to stop Dooku. The two Jedi are overwhelmed in the battle, and Anakin loses his hand. Yoda comes in to fight Dooku and save the day, but Dooku ultimately escapes and meets with his master, Sidious. It is revealed that Dooku is Tyrannus and was working for Sidious. Yoda declares the start of the Clone Wars, and Anakin and Padme are secretly married on Naboo, with Anakin receiving a bionic hand and the droids as witnesses. Now let's get into the window dressing, the aesthetic elements, if you will. First, the acting itself. Seeing Christopher Lee play a Sith Lord with Count Dooku is a fun novelty, and he does a great job at it. I didn't mention Samuel L. Jackson's Mace Windu in the Phantom Menace review, as he didn't have much to do in that film, but here he is a blast. Ewan McGregor really comes into his own as Obi-Wan here, and gives a great performance, while Ian McDiarmid's Palpatine raises the stakes in his evilness. Hayden Christensen makes for an Anakin that is stiff and a bit whiny, exactly how an emotionally suppressed young man would act. I'm not sure how I feel about Natalie Portman's Padme in this one. Well, she's being a politician or a badass fighter, I'm all for it, but her girly romantic giggling always annoyed me. But I blame that more on the direction than the acting itself. The script is definitely a mixed bag, and I'll be getting into it more later when I talk about Anakin's weird dialogue. But there are some great moments here, like the iconic Death Stick scene and the entire C-3PO battle droid sequence. My favorite line in its delivery by McGregor might simply be him responding with a sarcastic "good job" when Anakin says they came to rescue him when he's all tied up in the arena. But the actual best line is an offhand comment at the Coruscant bar where Obi-Wan remarks to Anakin, "Why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me?" Foreshadowing is a literary device where, anyway, the special effects are flashy and well done. And I have to say that Kamino's water looks stunning. The soundtrack is good and fitting as ever, and while it does reuse the music from Phantom Menace, it's very effective when it is used. Like Duel of the Fates playing when Anakin drives through the desert looking for his mother with a burning red sky in the background was just such a cool moment. I didn't notice audio balancing issues here, but I was watching on a different TV, so I'm willing to bet that my issues with the Phantom Menace were just a me thing. And the rest of the sound design is top-notch. I find the pacing to be an improvement over the first film, with the Anakin-Obi-Wan plots being split up and keeping the intrigue throughout. I do think the final battle sequence drags a bit, and as do some of the romantic scenes, but overall the pacing is better. They could have cut 15 minutes off this one and it would be a nice, lean adventure is all I'm saying. The cinematography didn't stick out to me as good or bad in this one, and it does the job. And now that all the busy work is out of the way, I have to get into the real meat and potatoes of what makes this film tick. Now, a particular criticism I've heard of this trilogy has maintained that Obi-Wan and Anakin don't feel like friends or that they actually care about each other, which makes Revenge of the Sith not hit as hard. Now, we'll get into that assertion in the next review, but for now, let me just say that yes, Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of hate each other, but that's actually a good thing. Well, they don't actually hate each other, but they do butt heads a lot. Anakin's immense skill is made him arrogant, and he's stubborn and doesn't listen. Obi-Wan is like a frustrated dad trying to rein in an unruly teenager, but he cares deeply about Anakin. Their arguing makes sense as it sets up their future issues and their different ideologies, and why, had Qui-Gon trained Anakin, things could have been different. Obi-Wan's reluctance to train Anakin back in Phantom Menace carries over here. Of course, he grows to care about Anakin, but he has his concerns, rightly so. I just wish that this had been the first film in the trilogy, mind you, with modifications to make it work, and we had another film exploring their dynamic in live action during the Clone Wars. And speaking of clones, there are so many clones, and it's terrifying. The whole Camino cloning facility is creepy with its bright white lights and futuristic architecture, but the clones themselves, especially when they form an army, just have devastating and unsettling implications. The fact that the clones lack free will, which is something that will come back to bite everyone involved, and is also just tragic and has a ton of unanswered questions on its own, and will so easily follow any order, is just chilling. The moment they were reprogrammed to turn on you, well, that's a topic for the next video, but the point is the film does a great job at setting up this feeling of impending dread. And now we come to Anakin being creepy. The fact that this was my major takeaway from this specific viewing is pretty funny, but I do think it actually has some interesting implications. Now, I don't think him coming across creepy in the romantic scenes was intentional. As my dad said, George Lucas was trying to direct him like James Dean, who I don't think is supposed to be creepy. I don't think he acts like this in the Clone Wars show either, but seeing who he becomes in the next film, particularly regarding his abuse towards Padme, yeah, that one incident coming up feels a lot more sinister when reframed by this film's weird dialogue. I used to just think they were bad lines with overwrought delivery, and yeah, that's probably the reality of it, but I can't help but feel like it somehow enhances Anakin's character. Like he's been thinking about Padme for 10 years, since he was 9. Every day since he was 9. That's obsession if I've ever seen it. And the fact that she was a queen and now a senator, it's almost like meeting your celebrity crush as a child and actually getting with them as an adult. I would normally say that Padme is the creep here for this reason, but she does try to push away his advances at first, saying why they can't be together. Anakin was also taken from his mother at age 9 and joined the Jedi. We see other Jedi as young as 3 or 4 training in this film. They are being groomed by the institution plain and simple, and I hate it. I'm not trying to say the Jedi are evil, and I do believe their intentions are mostly good, and they have a lot of philosophies I agree with, but the whole idea of attachment being forbidden is annoying since they aren't allowed to date. I think there needs to be a fine line drawn between attachment and obsession. Some attachment can be healthy, I think, but obsession, unhealthy attachment, isn't. Sadly, Anakin does cross this line, which shows that flaw in his character, but the Jedi teach emotional detachment, and without a true mother figure or father figure in his life, he is going to struggle emotionally, especially someone so powerful who doesn't know how to manage it yet. The burnt-out gifted kid angle is one I want to explore further in the next review. I firmly believe the Jedi were too rigid with their rules, and it is wrong to train young children when they can't really understand what they're getting into. However, Anakin also went too far with his obsession. A lot of his dialogue towards Padme comes across as creepy, almost like he's been stalking her, and it's hard to understand why she wants to be with him, especially after his emotional outbursts, but as someone who was in a toxic relationship, love is weird. But after he killed all the sand people, I don't know. Girls do mature faster than boys, and Padme is already a few years older than Anakin. I'm not sure why she wants to be a whiny man-child. Anyone who thinks their relationship was wholesome or cute pre-revenge, please seek help, lol. But seriously, I think Padme has to be somewhat emotionally stunted too. Again, she was a child politician and had to grow up too fast. She is used to taking care of people, and Anakin was taken from his mother from a young age and goes after a woman older than him. It's sort of a symbiotic toxicity. He needs someone to take care of him, and she needs someone to take care of. The entire relationship feels incredibly unhealthy, but man, their love theme is so good. And yeah, the stuff with Anakin's mother hits hard. The fact that she waited to die until she could see him grow up, chef's kiss. But honestly, I have never seen a sympathetic description of the Sand People in Star Wars. It's hard to feel bad for those who tortured his mother, but killing all the children was definitely too far, and the first big step towards the dark side. Anger is a natural emotion, but must be used in moderation. I'd also be very curious to see a more sympathetic interpretation of the Sand People, so let me know if one exists in external media. Anyway, even if they are animalistic in nature, I'm pretty sure that hurting animals for fun is an early sign of troubling behavior in actual serial killers, so yeah. But man, I wish he was allowed to just feel emotions without letting the Jedi suppress him. I love the droids in this film, particularly the sequence on Geonosis with C-3PO. He has a lot of funny dialogue during the body swap with the battle droid. Also, R2 flying is the best kept secret in all of Star Wars, and I have to assume that he got damaged sometime before the original trilogy, because what do you mean he can fly now? And by the same metric, I'm not sure what happened to Yoda between the prequels and the OT, besides him just being depressed, because man's got moves in this. I actually really like the Yoda Dooku fight when he pulls out his hidden saber. I know some people think it's silly or Yoda isn't supposed to be a champion duelist, but I don't care how contrived it is, it's cool. And that's ultimately the kid in me, being able to look at a cool thing and think it's cool without overdoing it. My favorite little lore-breaking detail is Mace Windu's purple lightsaber, because Sam Jackson won and who was George Lucas to say no? Jar Jar is here too, although very diminished. While I liked him in the first film, toning him down as the trilogy gets more serious was for the best. I do think it's really funny that he's the one to vote emergency powers to Palpatine, spawning many a fan theory that he was a Sith Lord all along, and Palpatine in this is actually crazy. Using the situation to get emergency powers is like so shitty, and he's more than an opportunist. He's an evil mastermind capable of making the galaxy bend to his will. As they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Outside of the pacing and some odd dialogue choices, I found myself really enjoying this one. I'm seeing more value in Anakin as an adult, as someone who has dated a toxic guy and generally observed a lot of bad relationships, and also listened to too many Reddit podcasts for my own good. Things I dismissed before as boring romance or bad writing hit a lot harder with the angle of Anakin is kind of a creep actually, and Padme falls in love with someone as emotionally stunted as herself. They're perfect for each other. And I don't know, I find something about that intriguing. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, and comment your favorite Anakin quote, or you can tell me why you hate this movie. That's fine too. Engagement is good. Link to my socials in the description, including my Rare Lexington Discord and my new Star Wars Rare Hair Discord, over 18+ for security reasons. Cheers!